Hey there. After last week's attack on two oil tankers outside of the Strait of Hormuz, Saudi Arabia is calling for the United States to attack Iran. After a year of maximum pressure, though, there isn't much more that the United States can do without just straight up killing people. In essence, Saudi Arabia is calling for a war. This makes sense because at this point, a U.S. war with Iran is basically Saudi Arabia's last hope. This isn't about some mythical eternal conflict between Sunni and Shia. This is about dollars and cents. For a couple years now, I've been emphasizing something that most media steadfastly ignores. Saudi Arabia is nothing without a robust oil market, and for the past 5 years now, that market has not been providing enough money to keep the current system going long term. Many are aware that Saudi Arabia has purchased a U.S. president, but few acknowledge how important the oil price is to his U.S./Saudi foreign policy. In a video called "Trump is the OPEC President," linked at the end of this video, I documented the way that the Trumpers have been working down a checklist of the world's greatest oil producers, disrupting their production in a desperate attempt to drive up the price. These actions are a lot more important to Saudi Arabia than the Yemen and Khashoggi cover-ups we spend so much time talking about. This effort to prop up world oil prices has failed almost completely. Estimates vary, but most think that the Saudi government needs a barrel of oil to cost at least $80 to have any hope of breaking even. It's only hit that mark for about 30 days out of the past 5 years. Even after the full implementation of Iran sanctions, the destruction of the Venezuelan oil industry, the restart of civil war in Libya, and multiple attacks on oil and gas infrastructure in the Persian Gulf, Brent crude prices can't get out of the lower 60s. A U.S. war with Iran really is Saudi Arabia's last hope for higher oil prices. Without it, they're finished by 2030, if not long before. If war breaks out between the United States and Iran, it's not actually Iranian production that the Saudis would hope to crush. Donald Trump has already given them that with sanctions. No, the true targets would be the 7 million barrels of oil produced every day by Iraq and Kuwait. I've given it a shot before, but it's impossible to predict exactly how war between Iran and the United States would go. One thing that we know for certain is that the Strait of Hormuz would be blocked by flaming wreckage almost immediately. This strait is tremendously important to Saudi and Iranian oil exports, but it's also essential to Iraq and Kuwait. And alone out of these 4 countries, Saudi Arabia has a robust pipeline network and high-volume ports outside of the Persian Gulf and in its own country. Kuwait and Iraq have access to land-based pipelines too, but they go through territories that are certain to be disrupted by any war between Iran and the United States. The Saudis would be hurt by the loss of transit through the Persian Gulf, but its oil market rivals would be crippled. Oh, and by the way, this is one of many reasons why it's silly to talk about World War III here. Russia, a petrostate, would make a ton of money out of a US-Iran war as well. It doesn't take that much to move oil markets. The crash in prices that we've seen over the past 5 years was almost entirely caused by the addition of just 5 to 7 million barrels of oil a day from Texas. If we were to lose 7 million barrels a day from Iraq and Kuwait, the effects on prices would be immense and immediate. Saudi Arabia is probably right to think that a war would give them the spike in oil prices that they so desperately want, but it would not save them. In fact, I think that a war between the United States and Iran would accelerate the end of Saudi Arabia's current system. We'll talk about that next time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and click on the bell next to the subscribe button if you want updates every time I upload a video. Thanks.